Welcome back to Tiny Bunny. This is my last episode of my first playthrough that I did a year ago. So I had to do a recap. I had to go back and watch my last episode. So if I needed a recap, I'm sure as viewers, you would need a recap. I'm not going to go too detailed. I will link my first playlist down below if you would like to check that out. But just for like a brief little description of what happened. So in the last playthrough I did on my episode 4, when Anton and Olya followed Alyssa and her friends to the forest, we said yes to eating the candy. And it seemed like everything was going really well because in reward, we were gifted like video games and toys, and it was so much they wanted to share it with the other kids. We awoken back in Anton's bedroom. And again, everything seemed really, really great. When they woke up, they were gifted the dog. So Anton was not faced with the decision to kill the dog. The dad almost ran it over with his car and then decided to keep it. Their mom and dad were happy, and they were actually going to take them to Disneyland, which is what Anton and Olya always wanted. But then, of course, what seemed to be really good became really dark very, very quickly. I got an achievement saying that Anton was turning into a monster, or he had turned into a monster. So I'm assuming all of it was an illusion, because then we awoke back in the village. All of the children were gone. Bayasha, Ramka, and Katya are all missing, but it looked like all of the other children are also missing, and the only one that's okay is Anton. And he was surrounded by all of Alyssa's friends in their actual animal forms, not their children forms. And they told him that if he didn't bring them meat, they were going to eat his family. So we are diving in to episode 5, knowing that once again, Anton is tasked with bringing them meat, or his family is going to suffer the consequences. So we are on, let me go back. I think it's the February one. Episode 5, Bunny, tasty meals prepared. The house was enveloped in snow. A blizzard was coming. I entered the dust-colored hallway, and the door cracked itself shut behind me. A timid light that seeped through the windows for such a short time was already retreating. The sun was hidden behind a thick white veil. The blizzard... Oh! Look at his reflection. Look at his eyes. He does actually look like a bunny. Because in this one, like I said, we're the monster. The blizzard whipped up its white flags into the sky, but it was not a sign of surrender. The field and the forest got lost in the haze, a fish-eyed lamppost at the side of a disappearing road with the last glimmer of light around. The day became the night, an endless polar abomination that whispered and roared, and circled around the house.
Мясо.
Meat echoed inside my skull. I slapped myself on the cheek.
Mama, Papa.
Mom, Dad. The empty house laughed mockingly. The kitchen was empty. The bathroom was empty. The attic was empty. I ran up the stairs, regretting that I didn't study the posters that trembled in the wind. What if my parents' faces were among those who went missing? I poked my nose into Mom's room. A leaden cloud crept across the sky. Where are you? I wonder if Olya was one of the kids that went missing. I had no hopes of finding Olya in the kids' room, but she was in her bed, as if everything that happened last night was nothing but a dream.
Слава Богу, ты здесь.
Thank goodness you're here. Okay, but she still looks like she's not conscious, like in our episode 5 for our new playthrough.
Где мама с папой?
Where are Mom and Dad? She didn't reply, as if she was probably asleep. We went out to get the meds, look after Olya. We entrust her to you. Wait, your mom and dad? Is that supposed to say mom? Yeah, your mom and dad. The mom looked weird. I think it was the cursive M that was throwing me off. Olya didn't open her eyes. There was the compress on Olya's forehead, hot from the body heat. I guess her parents tended to her before heading out. Her head thrashed around on the pillow. Her eyeballs rolled under her eyelids.
А я могу прыгнуть к звездам.
Can I jump the stars? Like you? I was stunned. She was dreaming about the New Year's roundelay with the masked figures.
Нет, не можешь. Не смей. Это все обман.
No, you can't. Don't. It's all a lie.
Зайчик, твой черед угощать нас.
It's your turn to treat us, Bunny. Olya smiled. Her tiny teeth were smeared in chocolate. Meat! I shook my head, trying to chase away the intrusive whispers, the images of gigantic creatures, rotten, worm-infested, and dead.
Гости скоро будут здесь.
The guests will come soon,
И мы сможем
and we'll be able to play with them all night.
всю
I thought about the hungry beast from the forest, about the flute and its unceasing call, about the dead creatures jumping over the pines. The house got immediately darker and colder. Something rustled in the attic. Mice? A foxtail? Shadows climbed the walls. Floorboards creaked in empty rooms. In her delirium, Olya described images from my dream, even the things she couldn't know.
Я перепробую все конфеты.
I'll try all the candy.
Я не позволю!
I won't let you.
Позволишь! Еще как позволишь!
You will. Oh, you will, a voice rang out in my head, and at the same time streamed from all the nooks and crannies in the house.
Мы придем, как только настанет ночь.
We'll come when the night falls.
Зайчик мясом нам достань.
Bunny, bring us tasty meat,
Или мясом сочным
or
стань.
become our juicy treat. I broke free from the illusion's embrace like it was a spider web, then sprinted out of the room, almost tumbling down the stairs. Clocks counted down the minutes without mercy. The night was almost upon us. I need to stop being selfish. What if Olya wakes up hungry? Some leftover condensed milk languished in the freezer. I sliced up a loaf of bread into quarters, just like Olya likes it. And then a piercing howl mixed in with the wind song. Wait, that's weird. So in my episode 4, they kept Zulka. The dad almost hit him with a car. I thought he was already their pet. Wait a minute. But I literally told you guys it was an illusion because he woke up. Never mind. So that means it didn't happen. No, that means he's going to try to kill Zulka. Something dark was there in the blizzard's embrace. Some living being darted around in the snow.
Нет, нет, до ночи еще далеко.
No. The night is still far away.
Вы обещали дать мне шанс!
You promised to give me a chance. A pitiful yapping reached my ears. The snowstorm subsided for a moment, chasing away the swarm of snowy flies, and I recognized a familiar dog and the ball of fur that shivered in front of me. Maybe that was the chance I was
Zulka.
looking for. Zulka! The stray wagged its tail as if it heard my shout and rushed toward the front door. It whimpered as it clawed at the wooden planks with its tiny paws, asking me to let it in.
Приветик.
Well, hello there. I bent down and rubbed the dog behind its ears. It wagged its tail even faster. The dog. Meat. Food. What if I offer some dog meat to those monsters from the Black Forest? Will it be able to satiate their hunger? Without even thinking of how I'll kill the poor animal, I started backtracking and whistling. The blizzard whistled in unison with me, as if supporting my devilish plan. The shivering stray ran into the hallway. I shut the door as fast as I could, afraid that the dog could smell the danger and try to run away. Happy barks were sounded throughout the house.
Тише, дурочка. Олю разбудишь.
Pipe down, silly. You'll wake up Olya. No, I can't just gut it in the hallway. The kitchen is a better choice. Zulka tried to lick my face when I picked it up, but I dodged. Ah! It's so adorable. It's like, of course, I'm biased. Dogs are my favorite animal alongside tigers. But listen, I'm gonna cover my eyes, but I am gonna say yes if it gives us the option to butcher Zulka, only because in this storyline, Anton became a monster. So Anton is the monster. We got an achievement for that in this storyline. So I do think if I was Anton and I was going kind of loony, I do think he would choose to do this. But I'm not gonna watch it. I can't watch it.
Ты, наверное, проголодалась, девочка.
You're probably hungry, huh? I ransacked the freezer, then tore the plastic bag with meat bits open and threw its contents to the dog. Ah, his final meal. It sniffed the frosty bones with caution, then flashed me a suspicious look.
Ешь давай.
Eat up! Newspapers with Mom's crosswords acted as a makeshift oilcloth. I spread them around the floor so as not to get the floor dirty. Seems like my dad, who was constantly busy, forgot to sharpen our knives. I felt dizzy at the thought that I need to slaughter a writhing Zolka like a pig.
Чем бы тебя таким, чтобы не мучилась?
How do I make it the least painful for you? Someone else smirked inside
Ты
me.
это... Постой тут.
Listen, I need you to stay here for now.
Я за топором схожу и
I'll grab
убью
the
тебя.
axe and
Хорошо?
kill you, okay? With a look of resignation in its eyes, the dog started its last dinner. My legs gained 10 kilograms each as I shambled toward the attic. Oh. As I peered into the darkness, I was scared that I would come face to face with the goat's maw, feel the stench of his dirty fur and his cold fingers grasping my neck. The attic was empty. The axe lay with its blade toward me, casting a sinister shadow. My fingers locked around the handle.
Собака или сестра?
Remember, it's either the dog or your sister.
Собака или я сам?
It's either the dog or yourself. I felt unending hatred toward myself, toward that stupid, totally innocent dog, toward my parents who had abandoned us and driven away in their car, and toward the beast that had left me no choice. I hated the entire world. With that anger in my heart and my axe at the ready, I entered the kitchen to execute the last part of my plan. Oh. Zolka stood on its hind legs while Olya rubbed it at the scruff. My sister leaned against a table to stop herself from falling over. I dropped the tool and rushed toward the exhausted Olya.
Ты зачем встала?
Why did you get up?
Услышала, как собачка залаяла.
I heard the doggy barking.
Мне уже...
I feel better already.
Не обманывай. Скорее иди в кровать.
Don't lie to me. Let's get you back to bed.
Правда лучше.
But I do, honest. She let go of the tabletop's edge to prove that she wasn't going to fall unconscious on me. Her cheeks reddened. I sighed after touching my sister's cold forehead. I realized that I'd kill anybody to ensure her safety.
А откуда взялась собачка? Она теперь наша?
Where did the doggy come from? Are we adopting it? I stood in front of the axe I dropped, ashamed.
Забежала погреться. Погреется и уйдет.
I let it in because it was cold. It'll leave as soon as it warms up.
У нее щенки, ей нужно к ним
It
возвращаться.
has puppies to take care of. We can't keep it.
Мы щенков можем к себе взять. Будет классно.
We can take the puppies too. It'll be so cool.
Не думаю, что маме
I
понравится
don't think
эта
Mom will
идея.
like that idea.
А мы ее сильно попросим.
We'll ask her super hard. The stray rubbed against Olya's
Она
leg.
блохастая. Фу, Жулька.
It probably has lice. Zolka, no.
Ее Жулька зовут.
Is it a girl? Is her name Zolka?
Жулечка.
Zolka, you're ours now.
Не бойся.
Don't worry, girl. No one will harm you here. Ah, poor innocent thing. Olya took a sausage out of the fridge and threw it to the dog. It chomped on the treat with enthusiasm, even though I had already fed an entire portion of beef bones to it. That's dogs for you. They're always hungry.
Я бы на твоем месте все-таки подремал.
I'd go take a nap if I were you.
Скоро папа врача привезет, а мама лекарства.
Dad will bring the doctor soon, and Mom will get you your meds.
Я больше не хочу спать. Мне кошмар снился.
I don't want to sleep anymore. I had a nightmare. She spoke slowly, her eyes
Да,
downcast.
знаю.
I know.
А вот и не знаешь.
No, you don't.
Ты хоть и был в этом
You were in
сне,
that
но
dream.
откуда тебе
But
знать?
how would you know?
А я про него рассказываю.
And I won't tell you,
Потому что сон
because
был
it was a
очень
very,
плохим.
very bad dream. But now,
Теперь,
Olya's face brightened. Her lips formed a smile.
теперь у меня есть Жулька.
I have
Всё
Zolka
будет
now.
хорошо.
Everything will be okay.
Она залает, если прилетит страшная сова.
She will bark at that scary owl comes and will wake up and hide.
И тогда нас не найдут.
And then they won't find us.
Оль, вряд ли эта
Oh yeah, I
шапка
doubt
нас
this mangy
защитит.
thing can protect us. Yet my sister had already made up her mind.
Еще как защитит.
She can, she can.
Ты же защитишь. Правда? Правда, маленькая.
You'll protect us, right, doggy? The stray barked in approval.
У меня для тебя
I have
кое-что
some-
есть.
I have something for you. Wait here. Olya ran toward the stairs. I heard them creak.
Осторожнее!
Careful!
Скоро! Присмотри за Жулькой!
I'll be back! Look after Zolka! I stared at the dog, stunned by how lively Olya was now, despite being delirious from a fever just minutes ago. Zolka finished her sausage and switched to licking the floor.
В друзья набиваешься, да?
Trying to cozy up to me, huh? I was Olya's only friend. I was her savior. I could at least try to save her. But to do that, I picked up the axe from the floor. Zolka, as if sensing something, rushed after Olya, but I stood in the dog's way in front of the staircase.
У нас мало времени. Оля скоро вернется.
We don't have much time. Olya will be back soon. I tightened my grip on the axe. It weighed a ton now. The little dog followed all my movements with its eyes.
Не бойся.
Don't be afraid.
Я знаю, что все
I know that all
собаки
dogs go to
попадают в
heaven. Oh. Poor Zolka. Its tail jumped back and forth.
Не будь же ты такой милой.
Stop being so cute, damn it. Ugh. We have to. I raised the axe. I imagined a scale with the stray on one side and the lives of my family on the other. My imagination drew a vivid picture. The blizzard cut us from civilization, and now we need to survive on our own. Like Robinson Crusoe on the uninhabited island. He'd kill an animal to feed himself without a second thought. Zolka is just food.
Мясо!
Meat! The axe drew an arc through the air. We got an achievement for axing Zolka, but I could have went my whole life without that achievement. And then a crunching sound. Hot droplets splattered into my face, and the dog didn't even have time to wail. Olya wailed in its stead. She screamed in a scary, squeaky voice as she pressed her little fists into her cheeks. She was clutching a bright ribbon in one of them, her improvised collar. A gift meant for the dog that she had no use for anymore. I felt a pang of shame in my heart. Olya! I stepped toward my sister, who saw everything from behind my back. She saw my senseless killing of a man's best friend. The ribbon fell out of her hand. You, her, with an axe! She winced. Tears clouded her eyes. Olya stared at me in surprise and horror. She was scared. She was afraid of me, as if I were a murderer, a psycho that killed animals for fun.
Зачем?
Why? I slid my hand across my sticky face.
Пойми, ты...
You won't get it.
Тронь меня!
Stay away. She was almost choking on her tears.
Оленька,
Olya, please.
Ты чудовище! Такой же, как те, которые ночью придут!
You're a monster, just like those that will come at night. Honestly, her reaction is so valid. I reached for my sister, but she just shrieked even harder after noticing the blood on my hands. I grabbed a towel that was hanging on a nearby hook and tried frantically to wipe off the scarlet splatter. Then Olya suddenly screamed and rushed toward the nasty puddle in the middle of the hallway. She's alive!
Доктор придет и зашьет ее!
The doctor will come and fix her up.
Не может быть.
It can't be. I didn't want to see it. Please, no. I stared at the dog. Its red carcass trembled and bulged. Something gray poured out of its flesh.
Назад!
Get back. I shoved Olya toward the fridge. The dog's body was hollow like a rotten fruit. That's why it was so easy to crack under the axe's blade. Something nasty festered inside the dog. It probably controlled the dog, led it to their house. The slimy abomination emerged from the dog's corpse. After just a moment, a giant insect was already writhing on the floor. Curved spider legs felt around the floor. Translucent wings spread out and fluttered, sprinkling red drops everywhere. The mutant, a mix of a centipede, a spider, and a butterfly, dragged its hairy body toward me. Ugh! Its clawed legs clacked against the floor, and a thin line of syrup dripped from its tine maw. I screamed and hacked at it, slicing the parasite in half. Yellow pus burst out as the creature popped. Its legs shuddered and dropped to the floor, followed by Olya falling unconscious at my feet. My axe peeked out of the vile mess. The insect hid inside the dog like a smaller, I don't know what that says, matryoshaka? Matryoshaka inside of a bigger one. I'm pretty sure I butchered that. I remembered how Alyssa was feeding something to the dog the day we met. I leaned against a wall and slid to the floor, my face buried in my hands. I felt an urge to vomit, but I took a deep breath and it went away. Snow squeaked outside the window, as if somebody got closer to take a look at us. I strained my hearing so hard I almost became one giant ear. I guess I just imagined it. All nerves, as Dad used to say, and Mom would add that nerve cells don't recover. I need to stay strong until they come back. Soon, any moment now. I scanned the hallway that looked more like a slaughterhouse, pale Olya lying in the center of it with my eyes. I can't greet my parents with a gift like that. I brought a blanket and a pillow from the bedroom. I tucked Olya in and moved her toward the staircase, farther away from the butchered creature that used to nest inside a stray dog. Olya just stay there under my watch. Who knows what can knock on the window in her room. Olya's cheeks were no longer pink. Her skin was ashen gray. I touched her forehead with my lips. I didn't need a thermometer to tell that she had a high fever again. Oh my gosh, I can't. So does that mean it was a good thing? Because it had something in it? Or even better, maybe it's an illusion and Zolka was never there to begin with. That's honestly my biggest hope, is that it was all imagined. The carcass of the disgusting bug, along with Zolka's pelt, I wrapped in the sheets and put in the freezer. You put it in the freezer? You could have at least buried it in the snow. Ew, that's even worse. His mom and dad are gonna open. No, that's disgusting. I had very low hopes that it wouldn't disappear by the time the adults returned, but it was still worth a try. Oh yeah, because that's not obvious. I wish they'd believe me this time at least. I managed to wipe the dog's butt with a towel, but I had a harder time with the remaining sticky ooze. In the end, I scraped them off with a knife that I first wanted to use for the dog. A thick veil of snow fell from the sky outside. The house shook. It felt like a hurricane was trying to uproot it. Just like Dorothy's house before it flew to the land of Oz. But instead of a kind magician, the place they were going to was ruled by madness and death. Snow ghosts laughed and danced, holding hands outside. Then it got dark. The night and the blizzard smeared ink all over the windows and in the entire house. Even if somebody was to watch us from the outside, their face pressed into the ledge. I wouldn't be able to see them. How strong were the bolts on our doors? How hungry was the creeping darkness? I shrank after hearing an ear-rending scream in the surrounding darkness. It was the wind or the agony of hunger. The monstrous music of the hurricane poured into my ears. It consisted of screeching, wailing, and my own quickened heartbeat. The wind rammed the windows. An open window banged against its frame somewhere above us, as if it were a rabid beast clanging its maw. Had the guests arrived already? Were they walking all over the second floor? Were they running from one corner to the other in the hallway, giggling? They're angry. Their wrath knows no bounds. I squeezed myself into the fridge, expecting the darkness of the doorframe to sink its claws into me at any moment. I waited for toothy animals to emerge into the kitchen, their saliva splattering to the floor. I need to calm down. I need to take my meds. I grabbed the package from one of the fridge's shelves, pushed out a pill onto my tongue, and washed it down with tap water. Then collected some more water and washed my face. Okay, so now that we took our medicine, I kind of want him to open the fridge. Did he really kill a dog, or did he kill something else? Because we now know from playing the last episode, from our last playthrough, that he is schizophrenic. So did he actually see it, or was it something else? I felt like the blizzard was disappointed by my choice. It wailed and attacked the outer walls of the house even harder. It felt the immense fear of the two children inside this fragile house. I realized that the shadows were creeping closer to Olya when I wasn't watching them. A black lump that crawled from under the corner, but melted from a direct look, a fuzzy silhouette under the table. I turned my head like crazy, fending them off. Then I noticed a pool of blood on the floorboards, exactly like the one I just wiped off.
Нет, нет, нет!
No, no, no!
Вы не настоящие!
You're not real. But if the shadows weren't real, if there was no one inside the blizzard, does that mean I'm just insane? A zoo sadist? Serial killers always start out with small animals, right? I looked at the package in my hand. What did I even take? The kids don't need to read the instructions for medication. They have moms for that. I pierce the tiny font with my eyes. I can't read that. Relieves fit of uncontrollable anger and anxiety. Helps with behavior abnormalities, manias, destructive behavior, can cause addiction. Possible side effects includes dizziness, heightened motor activity, disruption and thermoregulation, insomnia. And high dosages can cause serious injury or death. I hesitated. What was the truth? How could I tell it apart from the nasty lies? Take. Yeah, there's no option to not take it. I took a risk. Things would take a turn for the worse if I couldn't think clearly. I waited, but the medication didn't work. The ominous world outside didn't change one bit, didn't become any less hostile. On the contrary, I felt like the silhouettes of trees turned into living carnivorous beasts, lurking in the dark, waiting for their prey. Crooked branches bent down to the ground, one moment seeking their prey on the snowy trails, only to then shoot up toward the sky, trying to grab an unsuspecting bird. However, as soon as you looked upon them, the masquerading creatures would freeze, and they would again look like the many dead trees in the middle of the cursed Taiga forest. But maybe it was all just the wind's fault. No, there's no way. Black figures moved toward the house, shrouded by darkness. I don't see the black figures he's talking about. They were hungry. They still waited for their treat. I needed help, so I ran into the hallway, slipping and sliding. Make a call. I don't think this is a good idea. I clutched the phone. The speaker was silent at first, then barely audible beeps came through. I imagined the post swaying in the wind, the wires ringing as they were about to be snapped in half by hungry jaws. My fingers spun the dial. I dialed Polina's number. The phone vibrated with beeps as short as my breath. Finally, I called the police, but the dry female voice on the other end just kept on repeating the same words over and over.
Данное направление перегружено. Данное направление перегружено.
The line is busy. The line is busy. The line is... I dropped the phone. In the kitchen, the fridge grumbled as it turned off. The lights went out, flinging me into complete darkness. But it only lasted for a moment. Only it seemed like the peculiar phantoms in my hallway that pretended to be shadows from our furniture creeped closer. They're coming. Ashes to ashes. Dust to dust. I started whispering the useless chant, but stopped midway. Nature wailed on the other side of the door barrier. Whoever was walking toward the house, squeaking with the snow, wasn't my parents. They wouldn't crawl out on our roof, scratching it with their claws. They wouldn't look into our kitchen windows. We need to barricade ourselves before it's too late. I chopped out the cabinet with an axe to acquire some building material. There was still some pus from the nasty thing that was inside the stray dog left on the blade. Time to board up the windows. Metal nails dug into the wood. I slammed their heads with the axe's butt. I nailed the planks to the window frame, shielding the house from the horror creeping in the blizzard. Yeah, I don't think Olya is safe with her own brother. Another window was barricaded with pieces of furniture. I pulled at them to check for integrity. I wandered around the house. I seemed frighteningly big now and suffocated on the thought that I'll stumble into a scowling monster as I turn around the corner. I would go into the kitchen but end up in the black garage pretending to be it. Frosty wind scratched at the door. Let us in. Something evil flashed in the gaps between the planks. Feed us. I sat on the stairs and fixed my gaze on the front door. With an axe on my lap, with a heart beating so hard it could be used to hammer in nails. I sat and stared, my whole body shivering. I sat and stared, losing the last vestiges of my sanity. I sat and fell into slumber. Because, that's super smart. I jumped up as if something bit me. My sleepiness was washed away by the incessant ringing of the doorbell. Did Dad return with the doctor, or wasn't Mom carrying bags of medicine? Or maybe that hungry pack of animals showed up to dine. I sneaked around the hallway. The planks under my feet squeaked, giving me away.
Кто там?
Who's there? Silence. Or did someone answer me but was silenced by the blizzard? Look. Now, in the last episode it was Polina, but this figure looks... Maybe it is still Polina. I don't know. It looks like a bigger person, though. I pressed my face against a peephole, but it was shaded with rime. There was only a blurry, bearable, discernible silhouette on the porch. Were they wearing a mask? Probably not. I had an equal chance of getting help from the night guest, or being torn to pieces right in the hallway. Let in or don't let in? Okay, I kind of want to see what happens with both. So I did save it. We're going to let it in this time. But then we're also going to choose not to let it. Then again, man, hang on. Because I feel like we already did this and we ended up killing Polina. What if I end up accidentally getting the same ending? I don't know. We'll find out. My heightened senses told me that whoever was outside wasn't an enemy. I clenched my jaw until it hurt, ready to hack at the rotting moths. Then spun the lock. A hairy figure towered on the porch, showering me with the smells of pine needles and sulfur. Oh, it was his mom. Before I could do anything, my mom walked out of the white veil. No. No! So that means he's gonna have a choice between Olya or mom, isn't he? No. Air whistled as it battled its way through firmly
Ты
gritted teeth.
жива?
You're alive! Mom gave me a look of astonishment.
Жива, конечно.
Of course I
Ты
am.
зачем топор взял? Раскольниковым себя возомнил?
Why did you pick up the axe? Are you playing?
Вот папа обрадуется, что сын Достоевского прочел.
Dad will be super happy you finally read some Dostoevsky. Mom glanced at the destroyed refrigerator, then at the barred windows. The wind threw balls of snow into the windows, dark like burial soil.
Итак, что ты тут делал?
So what exactly were you doing? I tried to justify my actions after hiding my building tool behind my back.
Кто-то ходил вокруг дома,
Somebody was walking circles around the house,
а папа сказал, я должен защищать Олю.
and Dad told me to protect Olya.
И ты решил, что ей угрожает сервант.
So you decided that the old cupboard was a threat?
Ветер мог выбить стекла.
The wind could have blown out the glass.
Вот я и подумал.
So I thought the decision to erect barricades now seemed desperately stupid to me.
Да,
Mom clicked her tongue.
дурдом. Спасибо, хоть пальцы себе не оттяпал.
What a disaster. Well, at least you didn't chop off your own fingers.
Ту головушку повесил.
Now don't just stand there staring at the floor. You built this. You will have to demolish it. I nodded without looking up and dragged my feet toward the closet to pick up the claw hammer. Mom looked around as if searching for something in the semi-dark creeping from the empty rooms. I didn't like the oppressive silence, so I
Там
spoke
дорогу
out.
завалило, да? Папа не застрянет в пути?
The road is probably all snowed in, right? Won't Dad get stuck along the way?
Не переживай за отца. Он может за себя постоять.
Don't worry about your father. He can take care of himself.
А лекарства?
What about the meds?
Купила. Полный комплект.
I bought everything we need.
А почему Оля спит на полу? Оль!
Something doesn't seem right. Like something seems very off with their mom. My, why is Olya sleeping on the floor? Olya? My little sister stretched and unglued her eyelids and shrieked from happiness. She lunged at Mom's neck, the blanket dragged behind her like a mantle. I couldn't help but smile at the sight. Dad will return soon, and the entire Petrov family will be home. Inside an impenetrable fortress that can't be breached by some people in costumes. Mom smothered Olya in a tight embrace.
Все хорошо, девочка моя, все позади.
It's okay, my girl, you'll be fine. Then glanced over her shoulder.
Так и будешь там стоять?
Well, don't just stand there. I sniveled. Mom held out an outstretched hand to me. With her other hand, she ruffled Olya's already messed up hair. I dropped the axe and walked up to my dearest people in the whole world. There was enough space there for me. Mom's palm was scorchingly cold, but I knew she'd get warmer soon. That from this moment on, our family will be able to overcome anything life could throw at us. And then winter will end. Snow will thaw. Snowdrops will sprout from the soil. The wind traveled across the room, rustling the ends of the tablecloth. Snowflakes drifted into the hallway.
Мам, дверь.
Mom, the door.
Двери всегда открыты. На случай, если гости...
I knew the mom was suspicious. I knew it. The doors are always open in case we have guests.
Гости?
Guests? The lights flickered. Every time the light bulb went out and then back on, shadows on the floor became longer and lost their shapes more and more. The house screeched with the wooden bones in sweet anticipation. Scratch, scratch. The door swung freely on the rusted hinges, banging against the doorframe. I grabbed at Mom's fur coat, looked up at the ceiling. Darkness. Light. The door swung open and slammed against the wall. Uh-oh. A horned silhouette stood at the porch. Treats. Hulking inevitable, he stepped into the doorway. The wooden box at the edge of the forest stopped pretending to be a house, a place of shelter. It became a trap with barred windows. Monsters scowled in the gaps between the planks. Moldy spots spread throughout the ceiling. Ancient taiga squeaked, brushing off piles of snow from its wide piney branches. Crooked fingers appeared from the crevices. Olya squealed, but I couldn't help her. Our embrace felt unbearable now. I looked up, blinked away the tears of desperation. Wait a minute. But I thought Anton was the bunny. My gaze slid across my mom's chest, then her neck, and stopped on the gray bunny mask. Avarice shone in her eyes. I screamed, and her maw opened, showering me with a putrid stench. Motherly fangs bit into my face. We got devoured by the eternal darkness. Wait a minute. That's how it ended? They died? Olya and Anton just died? Wait a minute. Domestic violence. Outsider, you got killed by your close kin. Unprecedented cruelty is how the detective characterized a recent murder of children, whose mangled bodies were found in a peaceful taiga village this Thursday. The entire police force has been deployed to search for the perpetrators. The main suspects right now are the parents of the 2 murdered kids. The massacre occurred in their house. Spouses P have gone missing, probably running from the scene of the crime. Original manhunt is currently underway. So they think that our mom and dad killed us. Wait, but that wouldn't make any sense. Wait. Oh my gosh. Absolutely wild. Okay, hang on. Now we're gonna choose not to let them in.
Кто там?
Okay, do not let in. I backed away into the corridor, into the embrace of the shadows. Knock, knock. Somebody's knuckles knocked on wood, insisting on being let in. No way. Whoever it is, they're not welcome here. Mom and Dad had their own keys to the house, and that meant that the unexpected visitor clearly carried a threat. They knew we were home alone. Ooh, Hodor, you didn't let the guests in. We got an achievement for that too. The porch creaked. The guests clearly changed their mind and left, disappearing in the blizzard. Suddenly, the lights went out. Darkness splashed from all nooks and crannies. The blizzard's moans intensified. I blinked like crazy, clutching the handrails. The sounds of the flute enveloped the house, streaming through the cracks in the decrepit walls. Somebody started pounding on the door. I backed into the wall from a surprise. A hail of strikes was unleashed on the door, bending it like a thin sheet of plywood, as if a dozen of fists and legs were simultaneously punching and kicking the wood. It's them! The door danced in the doorway. Dust flew from the flatbeds. The rumbling noise stopped as suddenly as it started. I rushed to the kitchen. I heard a heart-rending squeaking sound as if someone was driving their claws into the walls. Thin the flapping wings. The night churned like a giant stomach. And then they hatched from the shadows, nasty mugs in the gaps between the boards. They pressed against the windows, leaving pus and squashed maggots on the glass. Crooked fingers scraped against the glass. Bared fangs scratched away the rime. Limes of teeth bared themselves in the gaps, taunting me. Eyes shone from left and right. Dead bees stared at us from the outside and screamed. Open up, buddy. We're hungry. We want to devour. We want to smell your fear. Dance with us, bunny boy. Dance in blood, long-haired fool. Let us rest in your hot guts. In your hot blood. Sate our hunger. Our hunger. Their eyes shone like stars in the pitch-black sky. Glass popped in the kitchen. The invading wind played with our hair. It brought a flute melody, quick and slippery, like a poisonous viper. The monsters thrust their paws into the gaps between the planks, clicked with their claws, demanding their treat. Oh, there's the bunny mask. A huge deformed hand held out a bunny mask full of burrows from worms to no one in particular. Sate our hunger. Let us drink the sacrificial blood. Carve us a slice. Bunny, show yourself. Be brave. Give the beasts fresh meat they crave. I plugged my ears with my fingers. The nasty voices subsided, only to be replaced by another sneering voice.
Ты должен, ты обязан кормить.
Anton, you must feed them.
Или сам
Or
стать
become the meat
мясом.
yourself.
Твоя очередь.
It's your turn. Look at me. I shifted my gaze to the axe. Ugh. The blade reflected my twisted face. I couldn't recognize myself.
Да, вот так.
Yes, just like that, the voice pleaded sweetly.
Выбирай тщательнее. Не
Choose
дай
carefully,
себя
don't get
убить.
killed. Right in front of me, illuminated by the moonlight on blade-sharp claws, was a silvery bunny mask.
Наше настоящее лицо.
Our true face.
Оно поможет отомстить
It will help us
нам
get revenge
всем,
on
кто
those who hit
бил.
and bullied us.
Поможет стать настоящим собой.
It will help us to become who we truly are. My sister snored innocently as she slept on the floor, as if nothing was happening around her.
Никто меня не видит. Значит, самое время
Nobody can see
выбрать
me, and that means it's
жертву.
time to choose the sacrifice. Obviously, the dog meat. The fact that we can choose Anton, though, is actually wild.
Стойте! Сейчас!
Wait up! I'll be right back. I needed to buy time. I needed to save my little sister. I flung open the freezer and realized that the dead dog would become a mere drop in the sea of stomach acid of these giant monsters.
Ты где? Не оставляй меня!
Tosha, where are you? Don't leave me.
Я здесь, Оленька.
I'm here, Olya. Wait
Терпи,
just a moment, okay? Well, we're not doing Olya, so we're doing ourselves. I screamed. Olya shuddered as she woke.
Я буду вашим угощением! Только оставьте сестру в покое!
I'll be your treat. Just leave my sister alone. Giant paws smashed through the boards as if the house was made out of matches and crawled inside. You're but a single bite, brother. I guess we'll have to sweep the flower bed. Their fingers felt around the kitchen. A hairy claw grabbing the yelling Olya by the leg and dragged her into the blizzard.
Стойте! Так нельзя!
They took her anyways. Wait, you can't do that. Take me instead.
Сядь-ка на мою мордочку, да пропой еще разок погромче.
I'm so old and hard of hearing now. Come sit on my snout and sing your song a little louder. Then the claws, the size of butcher knives, grabbed me, dragged me outside, and lifted me high in the air toward the sky. Teeth and claws, sharp like a blade, ate into my flesh, tore it apart piece by piece. The end! What? Wait a minute. Okay, this one was called Emergency Rations. You became dinner. Lost in the night. Snow-laden roads, a lone tractor abandoned in a snow pile. The black silhouette of a school. Twilight falls, but there's no light in the windows, and no smoke billowing from the chimneys. The buildings are consumed by darkness. This was how the village that posed many riddles to the police, the relatives of locals, as well as the general public, greeted our correspondent. Where did all the people go? Just yesterday, this place was full of life. The village depopulated in a heartbeat, in a single night, as if hundreds of people conspired to leave their homes at the same time. Without leaving any hints or traces, they disappeared. Dissolved into thin air, locals of neighboring villages refused to give us any comments and just kept on sprinkling salt on their porches out of fear. A paganistic method of protecting oneself from evil. Looking at the empty streets, one might start to believe in the most outrageous theories. And if one was also to listen to the shuffling taiga forest that surrounds the dead village, even the most ardent atheist would be compelled to cross themselves. I'm so confused. I am actually confused. So even though we chose not to let them in, we still got eaten. Even though we chose for them to eat us, they chose Olya and us, so they ate everybody. I'm so confused because In my opinion, like, this doesn't make any sense because the other endings we got said that Anton had schizophrenia. But if we actually got eaten, or if we actually died, that means he wasn't seeing things, right? It actually happened. So then what killed him? What killed him if he's crazy and everything he's seeing isn't real? I'm so confused.
Никто меня не видит.
Okay.
Значит,
Okay.
самое
Well,
время
since this is a short ending, what happens if we go ahead and say, okay, eat Olya? Let's see what happens. The next moment, Olya started mumbling to herself. The beast went silent, but their claws still scraped at the boards ever so slightly. Alyssa, this must be tasty.
Скорее.
The voice in my head replied, hurry up, she won't feel a thing. I took a step toward my sister. Wait, Anton's butchering her? I thought he was just gonna, like, push her outside. The axe hidden in the shadows froze in the air over my victim. I remembered how I brought baby Olya to the window and how a sunny halo glowed around her head. I can't. No! My muscles turned to stone. Something foreign breathed in my skull, incinerating my memories. Now I had a slice of juicy meat in my hand in place of Olya, with the same beautiful halo around it. Saliva dripped down my
Ей не
chin.
будет больно.
She won't feel the pain. There is no other way.
Как все устроить?
This is just how it works. It's your turn to feed. The axe descended. Poor Olya. Olya opened her eyes at the last moment and I shuddered. What the hell am I doing? But it was too late. The blade split open her skull, eating into the bone between her ear, and popped out eye with a crunching sound. Olya's face warped, as if she were a fidget toy. A fountain of blood squirted into my face, drowning the white hair of my beloved little sister in a pool of scarlet. I went into a coughing fit, choking. Oh, taste of loss, you killed your sister. The halo of sunlight glowed one last time, reflected in the blade of the axe, lodged in a human brain. With just one swing, I took out the fleeable light I once swore to protect. I deprived myself of family happiness and any sort of illusion that things could go back to how they once were.
Что же я наделал?
What have I done? But the sneering voice in my head was silent. A single tear rolled down my cheek, burning me like a drop of sulfuric acid. The same acid boiled up inside, corroding my organ. I looked at Olya without blinking. Dead, Olya. Her eyelids dropped, blood painted her hair red, but her face was still pure and serene. Her skull buckled like a chocolate egg pressed with a thumb, although there are no bones and hair sticking to the brain inside a chocolate egg. If not for the wound on top of her head, I could have thought she was just sleeping. I sniffled. It was I who killed my sister. It was I who didn't save our parents. It was I who destroyed our family. I wanted a bunch of adults to storm the house, led by Takana, for example. I wanted him to see the axe in my hand and sentence me to an execution by a firing squad then and there. As soon as I thought that, the being that lay dormant inside my head all this time took control of my lips and spread them into a wide, disgusting
Ты
smile.
достоин не смерти, а высшей награды.
You don't deserve death. You deserve the highest
Ты
reward.
все сделал правильно, Антон.
You did the
Жертва
right thing,
необходима.
Anton. The
Жертва не
sacrifice
бывает
was
напрасна.
necessary. The sacrifice is always
Ты
justified.
отомстишь. Нужно набраться терпения.
You'll get your revenge. You just gotta be patient.
Когда?
When?
Позже, мальчик.
A bit later, boy.
Чуть
Just a
позже.
little bit later.
Ты еще слаб.
You're still weak.
Должен
You need to
стать
become
сильнее.
stronger.
Если ты умрешь
If you die
сейчас,
now, who will feed the kind beasts?
время кормежки пришло.
It's time to feed. I dropped the axe, and it hit the floorboards with a dull sound. But that didn't wake up Olya. Dead people are such sound sleepers. I put my coat on, even though some sort of sixth sense told me that I wouldn't need clothes where I'm heading. I bent down and slid my hands under Olya's neck and knees. Ugh! And a thin streak of saliva dripped on her chest from my open mouth.
Слюнки текут, да?
We're salivating, eh? My dear Olya, it was my duty to protect her as her older brother. Duty only makes us weak. Only freedom can give us strength, and Olya was free now. Thick shadows filled in her eyelids and her cheekbones. A painting of a dead person. Is it still a portrait or already a still life? I picked up my sister. She barely weighed anything. Her hair that always smelled so good emanated a coppery and pleasant aroma of blood. Olya's head hung over my hand. I remembered how Mom brought the newborn Olya to me and let me hold her. Back then I thought, though tiny and tasty, yet already a human, not even a human anymore, I did this. I turned a living being into a corpse. Cold, sweet, sticky. I leaned in and gave her an awkward kiss on her cold cheek. It was still as soft as ever.
Откуси.
Take a bite. The door behind me flung open, and the wind flooded the house. The hallway got covered in snow. It's gonna be our mom and dad. Okay, no, we opened it. Okay. I went toward the snowstorm, carrying a terrifying load in front of me with utmost care. 4 letters. Olya. 4 letters. Food. I went out to the porch. The world has changed. Could it really stay the same after what I've done? Some sort of amorphous mass bubbled and swelled. It's the forest, I thought, in its true form. This is my new home. The trees lurked into the darkness, reaching for prey with their branches. Their thick roots arose from the frozen soil, drawing nightmarish lines in the snow. The world was hungry. Its children stood between me and the wreathing twisted pine. They grew to fantastical scale, but still felt so familiar and so dear. A black trail led to the monstrous figures, a thin stripe in place where the snow thawed. The hard soil reminded me of the scales of a giant reptile. It rose and descended under my soles. The beast I walked on was breathing.
Приветствуем тебя, зайчик.
Welcome, bunny. So that's what you look like. Pretty. I picked up Olya, as if weighing her.
Моя сестра. Я любила ее.
This is my sister. I loved her.
Нам она тоже очень нравится. Поднеси ее поближе.
We like her too. Bring her closer. The wind hit me in the face. It smelled of cinder and corroded my mucus. A harsh sound that tormented my eardrums came from somewhere above. Something between an air raid alert siren and a woman wailing in agony. I looked up at the sky that moved and wreathed as if it were woven for millions of worms. The sky died just like Olya, and now it was full of larvae. Moon, round and yellow, bubbled above the forest like a bulging eye of a dead person. The moon saw what I did, and it screamed. The moon squealed in horror and bled. I felt like a feather in the wind, and I also felt that this is exactly what the world without Olya must look like. With the screaming moon, with the rotting skies, with the taiga crawling in the boneyard. The beast's shadow covered me along with my dead sister.
Спасибо, зайчик. Я не сомневалась в тебе. Ты позволишь?
Thank you, bunny. I never doubted you. Can I? My gaze darted between the horrifying silhouettes. They moved closer one moment, only to pull away the next. They switched places as soon as I blinked. That is not right. These monsters can tear me to pieces at any moment.
What?
Do friends act like that?
Смотри на
Look at them. They're not your family. Your pack. Trust them. There is no way back. All of the bridges have been burned. Give them the meat. They will be tender with it. Give them the meat. My numb, bloodied hands were empty. The hungry beast that looked like a fox pressed herself against the corpse. I heard the crunching of bones. The body of a disgusting centipede stretched. Mandibles? Its mandibles opened and closed, sharp as sickles. They cut open my sister's stomach. At the same time, their horrendous jaws locked on Olya's pale face. I staggered, but I couldn't look away. Alyssa threw the innards on the side. Bon appetit! The owl rushed toward them and plunged into those gray, slimy sausages. She devoured them greedily, like a stray dog with devour carrion. The fox tore the corpse limb from limb. Sinews popped under the strength of the claws. Juicy bits of human flesh plopped in front of me. Dead, but for some reason, still not coagulated blood ran toward my feet. Ugh! Olya's head swung toward the ground, connecting to her body with a small patch of skin. Some violet-colored tube was hidden in her neck, and now it peeked out. She had so many things inside her, I thought. Either my sister's eyes opened as she was being gutted, or Alyssa just tore off her eyelids. Olya looked at me, blank now. Her head swung like a pendulum. I swung in unison with it. The beasts were preparing food, a giant feast, a late dinner for the leprous planet. There's no way this will be enough. The beast that still partially looked like a bear dragged a couple of dolls on the pink snow. No, they weren't dolls. For Daddy, for Mommy. Teddy threw the bodies of my lifeless parents to the clearing. I moaned faintly, my hands reaching toward Mom and Dad. We'll have our bellies full tonight. Alyssa grabbed my dad and threw him to the pack as she licked her lips. The beast lunged at the corpse. The person who let me sit on his shoulder so I could better see the New Year's fireworks no longer had shoulders. The person who let me sit on his lap no longer had legs. Stop it. My daddy is the best in the world. The world no longer exists. We devour it. This is not just meat, Bunny. This is the key that opens the door to our bright future. To the land where we will be able to eat everything. Oh no! My Mopeak crackled and crunched as she was torn apart. The sickles cut, chopped, removed meat, and lard from the white bones. The bits of meat fell down, mixing in with what was left of my sister. One came from another, one came from the other, and then became one again. I remembered. You remembered nothing. I remembered Mom playing with Olya and me, digging a small hole in the ground. We would put beads in there and cover them with stained glass. It was our treasury. It was a grave. Get up, Bunny. Do it. Don't you dare resist. The beast inside me was the first to follow the order. Before I could even blink, I was already on my knees, my hands rummaging through cold, sticky flesh. Tears and saliva poured out of me. Ugh! I brought a thick slice to my face. Was it Mom? Olya? Who cares? I'm so hungry. My teeth tore into the tasty treat. There was a chip of bone inside. I swallowed it too. Mom, I'm pretty sure it was her. Tastes a bit like Bunny, right? Do you know that old tale about a bunny that couldn't bite the moon? There was once a boy who had many, many toys. And when their owner fell asleep, they ran away from him in the dead of the night and went to the snowy clearing. There, in the soot black skies, a full moon shone. The bear jumped first and tore off a chunk. Tastes like honey, he said.
Голодный волчонок взмыл в небо и клацнул зубами. Жирная рыбка.
The hungry wolf cub flew into the sky and clanged his teeth. Plump, fishy. His roar rolled across the fields. That's Alyssa.
Прыжок. И вот уже лисичка сладко облизывалась в лунном
One more jump. It was the fox's turn to lick her lips under the moonlight. Everyone knows that the moon is made of cheese, the cunning beast said as she smirked.
А сова ничего не сказала. Но зверята и так знали, что для нее все на свете на вкус, как мыши.
And the owl said nothing, but the others knew that everything in the world tastes like mice to her.
И только маленькая зайка испугалась прыгнуть так высоко, чтобы достать лакомый кусочек с неба.
The tiny bunny was the only one who was afraid to jump so high that she couldn't get a tasty chunk from the sky.
Трусишка сбежала от своего
The
хозяина.
scared girl escaped her master, built a nest, sewn 2 more tiny bunnies, and stuffed with sawdust.
И никто из них никогда бы не смог укусить меня.
Wait a minute. Oh my gosh, wait a minute. So,
Своими детьми.
on the table, their mother's name was carved in it, Karina. So the bunny they're talking about is his mom. His mom was too afraid to do this. So that means his mom, he probably got schizophrenia from his mom. And none of them would be able to bite the moon ever again because the bunny shared her powers with her children.
Но теперь, зайчик, ты вобрал в себя всю их силу.
But now, Bunny, you absorbed all that power. The moon howled in agreement. Pus flowed out of the holes in the sky. And the hunger that tormented me made me shove more and more meat into my mouth. I saw Mom standing in the kitchen, bathed in the morning sunlight. She smiles mysteriously and looks at me with kindness. I saw Olya running into the room to plop into my embrace, her bright smile. I saw meat. My stomach swelled. My mom and my sister got stuck between my teeth. Ugh! I burped and started laughing. I licked my fingers and guffawed, slamming my fists against the leftovers. The pack replied with the same barking laughter. The blizzard hit us, and the beast retreated toward the forest. I crawled after them on all fours, after grabbing some more meat, gnawing on a joint on the go. A nail pierced my palate. I spit it out and stood on my feet. The creatures were still backtracking toward the forest. The trees swirled in the pestilent darkness, sometimes even attacking each other. Scarlet plasma seethed in the pits. Clusters of eyes grew on the trunks. They followed me. I felt myself molting, and that was a wonderful feeling. The past flaked away together with the shell of a young boy. Under my old skin, something wild and unbridled spread out, something true. I don't feel fear to this thicket. The night belongs to us. I am the pack. Look, this ancient forest. Is it the same? I looked back at the trees that were now just trees. They didn't swarm like distressed bugs anymore. Under my feet was a plain old ground, and a normal girl who walked out from behind the pines and moved toward me.
Добро пожаловать домой.
A normal girl, so now he sees them as normal. Welcome home, Bunny.
Это место такое красивое. И звуки праздника.
This place is so beautiful. And the festive light and the festive sounds.
Осталось всего ничего, и твое полное перерождение свершится.
I'm thinking this was the true end of this episode because this is what they looked like when they were all, like, it looked like they were celebrating Christmas together. When Olya and Anton followed them into the woods and they ate the candy together and got the toys. It looks exactly like this. And so I feel like this was the true ending for when Anton became the monster. There's just a tiny bit left until your reincarnation will be complete.
День рождения нового зайчика.
A birthday for a new bunny.
Разрешишь потягать тебя за уши?
Will you allow me to pull your ears? The music and the poppers beckoned me. Somewhere near, one step away from this wondrous clearing, a heart-rending happiness awaited me.
Поторапливайся, глупый. Я обещаю, что назвала тебя глупым в последний раз.
Hurry up, silly, and I promise that I called you silly for the last time. I took her by the hand. Let's run.
Но куда?
But where?
Сам понял.
You already know. Neverland or Disneyland? She pointed at the sky, crowned by the screaming moon. I spoke hesitantly after looking at my weak legs.
Слишком высоко.
It's too high up.
Просто забудь обо всем, чему тебя учили в школе.
Simply forget everything they taught you in a school.
Земное
The
притяжение.
laws of gravity are for
Давай,
fools.
сделаем это.
Want to do it together? I nodded. Of course we'll do it together. This new sky was made for the two of us, and the moon was also screaming just for us.
Раз,
1. We jumped.
2.
2. Another jump.
три. Ну же!
3. Come on! And then it happened. Our strong legs pushed off from the frozen ground, and our bodies rushed toward the sky, leaving the rotten filth of our black shadows behind. Bitter cold enveloped me, drilled into my vertebrae like a torture device, chilling me to the bone. My skin crackled. Blood drops turned into ice and scattered from my wounds. I blew up with laughter, but not from within my mouth where my tongue turned blue and stiffened, but from somewhere else. It was probably the darkness itself guffawing inside me. Alyssa flashed me a blinding smile. We swirled into the howling hurricane among the acne of stars. Frozen flesh peeled off our bones. A waltz! A crack ran through her bluish fur. Fragments of her cheek fell into the abyss like shards of ice. Oh my. I wanted to move my face cam so that you guys could see what I see because, oh my gosh. Like so now he's seeing her true form. Again. The wind blew the slurry of her eyeballs out of the widening holes. The movement of the sky dancers slowed down. I was waltzing above, embracing an ice sculpture that was once Alyssa. We merged into a single silhouette.
Буду ждать тебя на земле.
I'll be waiting for you on the ground.
Постой!
Wait! She broke away from me, shattered to pieces and crumbled in my hands, falling into the darkness that wreathed underneath.
Лети.
Fly. So we're on the moon now, it looks like. I knew what had to be done. I rushed upward toward the balls of larvae and ulcers that made holes in space itself. Toward the yellow moon, it drooled just like me. My past was left somewhere below. Katya. She hated me, that nasty bitch. Simon, an ugly fatso that hit and bullied me, called me a wimp. Ramka. He can rot for all I care. Bayasha. A sycophant and a coward. I could have gotten rid of him at the first opportunity. Mom and Dad. Their screams, their endless squabbles, their cold eyes. That cursed village, that stuffy house that I hated. Olya. She's dead. Everything's dead. Dead, destroyed, decomposed. I was finally free. The moon pulled me upward. Something very important cracked and disintegrated inside of me. Something unnecessary. I forgot the name of my father. I forgot the name of my mother. I forgot the name of that little girl I used to squeeze in a hug. Inside the creeping, growing shadow of the yellow moon, I forgot my own name. But I also did it. I managed to bite the moon. My skin bubbled, ungluing from the flesh. My bones popped out of it with a tearing sound. Hunger. My mouth flew open so hard that my cheeks tore apart. It was no longer a mouth, a maw. My teeth all fell out, like I was a baby. Sharp bony knives grew out of my gums and pierced my lips. Hunger. My eyes popped, splashing onto my face. It was no longer a human face, but that of an animal. My muscles twisted into knots. New eyes were forming into my eye sockets. They saw everything as food. An edible world, an endless forest, an endless hunting ground, a darkness where I could hide. I roared. Claws protracted from my fingers, ripping off my nails. I tore off the remains of my old skin, the pieces of my old face, my old hair. Ugh! So that's what we became. That's our form. We're, oh my God, no way. That is what we saw whenever we were dating Polina and she taught us how to play guitar. That was the thing we saw that killed her. It was us all along. The moon howled as it watched my transformation. And when the rite was complete, when my new bones conjoined under my hide, when my skull hardened, taking on its true form, I stopped inside the mucus sky among the stars and rushed back to the earth. Rushed back to the earth, and we killed everybody. I bet we killed everybody. Oh my gosh. This was the true end. This was 1000% the true end. Wait, it doesn't say the end. It says continue. The world was bleeding. The planet descended into pitch black darkness. The fires went out, and entire cities turned to ash in the blink of an eye. An assemblage of claws, tails, and teeth crawled, destroying life itself. Seas turned crimson. Oh my gosh, we destroyed the earth. This is crazy. This is a crazy ending. Forest fires were the only source of light. Shadows of colossal monsters darted inside their flames. They devoured rivers and mountains. They gnawed on the bones of reality. I'm hiding in the dark. I dig into the ground. I spend nights in the dug-up graves after slipping up their contents, but I still can't hide from the hunger. It can't be sated, not even for a moment. Oh my gosh. That is crazy that was us the entire time. I'm starving. I'm so hungry. I'm chewing myself. I wouldn't be full even if I ate the moon. All I can do is consume. I am hungry. I am the devourer of the worlds. I create nothingness. I leave the half-eaten core of the planet. I devour graveyards. My howl is a death chant. My body is bigger than anything anyone could ever imagine if I hadn't already eaten everybody. I walk into the darkness, scooping up cliffs and seas with my open mouth. My eyes roll around in the craters of my eye sockets, seeking nutrition around me. I eat the stars. I consume the cosmos. I can hear the planet scream. I hear the universe wail in horror, its dying convulsions never ending. Apocalypse now. You managed to bite the moon. That was our achievement. The apocalypse has been canceled. Russia will not fall apart. Even though the current day smells of ashes and despair and the default is raging outside their windows, even with the constant debates about Chechnya on the radio, Russia is alive. And disarray in the trenches of the market economy with pensions and socks and souls at the bottom of the glass, it won't submit. And even if everything in the world crumbles, if the cities sink under the ground, there will still be people left who believe. Destitute, lost, exhausted, but broken nonetheless. I have no doubt one day we will be able to reach the stars again. While the earth spins, we will still have a chance for tomorrow, for our future grandkids, for a dream nobody can take away from us. Okay, I'm confused. So it's like a zombie apocalypse. Is that what that is? I became a zombie? Was I possessed? I think this was the true end, but I am still very much confused. But okay, I suppose that's a wrap on my first playthrough of Tiny Bunny. I'm still lost. Please, if you made it this far, let me know in the comments what you think the ending was, like the apocalypse ending in particular. What happened? Was I possessed? Did I become a zombie? Is that why the ending was called Apocalypse Now? I am so confused. I am so lost. I don't know. And then the other ending we got on my second playthrough, it said that Anton had schizophrenia, which is why he was taking the pills, which meant he was hallucinating and everything he was seeing wasn't actually happening. What happened to the schizophrenia? Like, I feel like the endings don't align, but I could also, there might just be parts that I am missing. I mean, I didn't do an Alyssa playthrough. Like, maybe her playthrough will answer some questions. Like, I haven't really done everything where, Anton would go on a date with Alyssa. And I didn't really get to uncover more of what happened with that storyline. And so maybe that's the parts and pieces that I'm missing, and I need to piece together what is happening. Because I will say, doing this ending, it helped me realize that the monster that we saw eat Polina after our guitar date was us the whole time. It was us the entire time. So playing this one helped me piece that together. So it would make sense that I would have to do the Alyssa playthrough in order to piece everything together. But I don't know for sure. Let me know in the comments if you made it this far what your thoughts are. Without too many spoilers, I am going to do an Alyssa playthrough. I'm not sure when yet, but it will be coming. Thank you guys so much for your patience. I cannot believe it took a whole year for us to be able to see the final episode, but I'm very glad that it is here and I got to share this experience with you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I see you for my next video.